I was able to watch Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget, so here is my review on the movie. Let's start off with everything I liked about it. And for starters, I am very surprised that this movie was not released in theaters, because for it to be a streaming movie, this is a really good sequel to the original. Now, I did watch the original for the first time last night, so I do not have that nostalgia for it as other people do. That being said, this is still a really good sequel to that movie. I'm surprised that this dropped on Netflix. Netflix doesn't normally have good movies like this. Like, they do occasionally, but for a sequel that just drops straight to streaming, I'm surprised of how good this movie is. I say it's movie theater worthy of how good this sequel is. This is a really good sequel to the original. And I like the plot in here. If you've seen the trailer, you know what the plot is, but it's basically different, but still the same. And I really like what they do with the plot. They went with the ending of the original and continued off of that. I really liked what they did with the plot here. It follows the original and has its own idea. That just doesn't feel like they're making this movie just because they want to. This movie actually feels like it's a very worthy sequel to that original film. And the stop motion animation in here as well is just as good as the original. I'm a fan of the stop motion animations kind of style. I know they take a while to make, but I feel like they're worth it in the end because of just how good it looks. Even though the section I just explained was short, I do not really have that nostalgia that I need for the movie. So that's why that section's short. But this is still a fantastic sequel, and I highly recommend watching it. If you're a fan of the original or just want to watch a movie, the sequel is worth it. But it's not perfect, so let's move on to everything I didn't like about it. And there's not much here. My main problem is that I feel like the pacing near the end of the movie, there's just something in here that kind of feels forced. I mean, it's relevant to the plot, but I feel like they could have done it in a way that I feel like they could have added on to the plot they already had. It kind of went with it there instead of them having kind of concluded something and then going back to it later. I feel like that kind of draws out the pacing and makes it a little longer than it needs to be, or makes it feel a little longer than it needs to be. But I feel like it's still relevant to the plot that you can't take it out because it shows the characters, but that's in there, and I feel like that kind of draws it out. In the like section, I said I like the story, but other people, I didn't run into this, but other people may not like the story for the reason I already addressed. That is, like the first one, they could, some people might have want a more original plot than one that's kind of like the first one, but I said it worked for me. It might not work for some other people. But all in all, Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget, it's a really good sequel to the original. Now, yes, the original is better, even though I don't have that nostalgia for it. It's still better, but the sequel is still a really good sequel to that original film. If you have grown up or have nostalgia for the first Chicken Run, you are going to love this movie. You are going to love it. But for me, I still recommend it. It's still a good movie, but out of 10, I will have to give Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget, a 7.5 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching this short review. Make sure you like and subscribe, comment down below your thoughts, follow my letterboxd called The Codeman Movie, and I will see you guys all next time. Goodbye.